What are the morning rules that you have set with your partner that drastically improve the quality of your relationship? Mornings are for coffee and contemplation. Not really rules, but routine. We always get up early and make breakfast, just the two of us, before our daughter wakes up. It gives us morning alone time and doesn't feel rushed. There is no talking before 6 a.m. Has saved us from any number of dumb bickerments. We take extra care not to wake each other up if we wake up before each other and watch TV or go on our phones. Magical. What are the most useful browser extensions that nobody's heard of? If you're using a VPN, then the Vital extension is very helpful. It can spoof your location data, time zone, language, etc. to match your VPN location. Unpaywall is super helpful if you access a lot of science journals, etc. Recipe Filter, it cuts out all the bullshit text and gives you just the actual recipe on food sites. Sponsor blocks, you don't have to listen to your favorite YouTuber try to sell you Norton. Auto refresh, if you need to check up on something, you can automatically refresh the page every few seconds. Public origin, it seems like everyone I talk to has no concept of an ad blocker in 2023. What currently legal act do you expect to become illegal within 20 years? Many individuals are recognizing multi-level marketing for what it is. Microtransactions should not be present in a game that can be offered to children. Hopefully, child marriage. Telemarketing, please, God, outlaw telemarketing. Hopefully, all phone hoaxes, UK. I don't know if it will become illegal, but it is my fondest wish that gerrymandering will become a thing of our primitive past. Minors accessing social media, with the negative effects it's having on their mental health, surely an age limit is a requirement. Anonymously using the internet. Lobbying. Pulling the tracking software out of your vehicle or refusing to have any installed. What do you think of Dalai Lama after seeing that video? Either he's a sick bastard or he's senile. I'm no pervert apologist, but I've seen seniors, he's 87, who have done things they think are cute or funny when there's nothing funny about it. Or maybe he's both and his senility is letting his perversion slip out. What video? Wait, what happened? And it saw it. Holy shit. What do you think of using cash as a gift? It's fine with me. People can do what they want then. There aren't any returns. Love it, I'll DM my deets. Love it. It's an underrated gift that should be normalized, in my opinion. Everybody I know would rather get, instead of another mug, the amount you paid for it. I think it's good because it is versatile, and even if it's not enough, you can still save it up. In some cultures, this is the way. I'm Chinese and this was how we give and receive gifts. I prefer it as I can either save the cash or buy exactly what I want. A better choice, TBH. If I'm gonna give someone money, then I might as well give them a gift card with an actual card to go with it because there's more thought put into it. What do you want written on your tombstone? I asked to be cremated, what the hell? My name 196422137. A Steam review of Life 309,936 hours played, it's okay. Does not recommend. I've made many dumb decisions in my life, and only one of them got me killed. The risk I took was calculated, but man, am I bad at math. You're probably wondering how I got here. I'm with stupid. Died tragically rescuing his family from the remains of a destroyed sinking battleship. A shared link to a PowerPoint presentation with Google stock images explaining why I'm never gonna give you up. I will keep Rick rolling even in death. Game over, continue, X, save, quit. What fictional character has the best name? Bender Bending Rodriguez. Atticus Finch. Sherlock Holmes is a name that has become synonymous with intelligence since it carries such weight and is so well known. Starscream. Biggest Dickus. Dale Gribble, Rusty Shackelford. Zap Brannigan. Saul Goodman. Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable. Guybrush Threepwood. Bob Loblaw, Arrested Development. Max Power. Slardabart Fast. Darth Vader. Badass sounding name that instantly tells you this guy ain't to be fucked with. Joey Jojo Jr. Shobadu. Lord Farquaad from Shrek was quite possibly the best name I've ever heard. I got the joke several years after watching the movie and suddenly burst out laughing. What is a middly inconvenient thing that annoys the hell out of you? Washing your face in the bathroom sink and the water trickling down your arms towards your elbows. Charging your phone and sleeping, then find out that it wasn't charging overnight and it's about to die. Having to wait 3 extra seconds for YouTube ads every time I want to watch a 30-second video. Slow walkers and people who stop walking in the middle of a crowded area and don't move despite people being behind them. Head to a wall or seat and check your phone there. Don't just stop walking in the middle of a crowd. FFS. Leaving something in the other room and remember I need it after I sit down. Please remove item from the basket. Please add item to the basket. Please wait for assistance. What is a telltale sign that someone is a selfish person? Doesn't think they're wrong in the slightest bit. They can't shoulder any bit of responsibility. They bring nothing to the potluck but are first in line. I love these threads. I always use them as a way to measure whether I'm doing those things or not and fix them if I am. Littering. They respond how worse their situation is when you're sharing your problems with them. No try for help or listening, just trying to draw attention on their side. What is most a scientifically incorrect song lyric? Thunder only happens when it's raining. Rain and thunder, while correlated, are not linked in any causal capacity. Bought a one-way ticket to hell and back. I know that I must do what's right as sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. It doesn't. The sun is a massive incandescent gas though. To their credit, TMBG have since issued a correction. My penis was missing again. It's detachable, you see. Detachable penis by King Missile. Jay-Z, I'm half man, half mammal. No, Hav, you're 100 both. She blow that dick like a cello. It is impossible to play a cello by blowing it. What is something you no longer have patience for? Family drama. Working outside of work hours, I used to go above and beyond. Now I only put in what is required. Life is too short to live only to work. Having to guess what people really mean by something they said. I take everything people say at face value now and don't replay conversations in my head to find out the real meaning anymore. Be passive-aggressive if you want to, but talk to me like an adult if you really have a problem. The working world, my life doesn't revolve around working here and it never will. It will never be a part of my identity. I come in, do the job, make money, go home. Don't expect me to come to all the work happy hours so I can pretend how much I love working here. What is the one thing you really hope is no longer around 10 years from now? Alzheimer's. My dad's mom, grandma, and likely great-grandma have all died from Alzheimer's, but luckily none of them really started to go downhill until their late 80s, so the world has at least 2 decades to find a cure for my dad. Constant advertisement. Cancer. Current social media habits. I'm not naive enough to think social media will cease to exist, but I'm hoping we become a bit more mindful in how we choose to engage with it. Will probably be too late for me as I'm currently stage 4, but if I could get rid of anything in the next 10 years, it's cancer. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. $K cancer. Bed bigs. What is the prettiest song you ever heard in your life? I fell in love with Scarborough Fair by Simon Garfunkel as a kid, and I still have a soft spot in my heart for it. Added thanks for my first award. I can't wait to listen to all the covers of the song and other SG songs you've suggested. Gymnopedis Eric Sadi. Up, this was a really wholesome question, especially for this sub. Harvest Moon by Neil Young. Any Song by John Denver. Vincent Story, Story Night by Don McLean. The Night We Met, Lord Huron. White Winter Hymnal. Not really the prettiest lyrics if you know what it's based on, however the flow is just so calm. At Last by Etta James. Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. Barber's Adagio for Strings. What is the stupidest conspiracy theory? That the Earth is flat. Edit. I have come to the conclusion that the Earth is in fact the shape of a donut. Microchip in vaccines. If the government wanted to spy on you, they could do it 1,000 times easier by tapping your phone. Flat Earth theory. It's just plain ridiculous. I'm from the UK, and the theories about this alarm system the government are putting on the phones is wild. Well, the whole idea that thousands and thousands of people could hold a secret. Also, that they need to keep it a secret at all. As far as I know, the elite is fucking us without even trying to hide it. That Australia does not exist. What kills more people than it should? Choking like why the fuck is the thing we eat with so close to the thing we breathe with. I just think it's a dumb design. Diarrhea. It ranks as the second most common cause of newborn death. I've encountered folks, mostly in less developed places, who I could have believed were deliberately trying to murder their kid by depriving it of fluids when it was experiencing diarrhea. Mosquitoes. People. Falling coconuts kills about 150 people a year. This should make you feel better about sharks, which kill about 5 people a year and only around 72 attacks happen a year. This gives you a 0.00009 chance of getting attacked by a shark. Drunk driving. Lack of money. Cancer. Fuck cancer. What made you realize you're old? Music that I listened to as a kid being played on the oldies radio station. Doing nothing became my favorite thing to do on the weekend. At 44, I don't feel old, but when I'm going to do something nowadays, I think about it if I could get hurt. When celebrities would come on late night shows and they looked so much older, then I would think I guess I do too. What movie traumatized you as a kid? The original Exorcist, E.T., Poltergeist. My buddy and I lied to our parents and snuck into this when it was in theaters, scared the ever-loving shit out of both of us. The tree, the clown doll, the mirror scene. That night we had a sleepover and just laid there shivering until dawn. Mars Attacks. The Brave Little Toaster. The whole movie was like a fever dream, but the AC scene, that shit stuck with me and might have affected who I am today. Event Horizon. The Ring. Dad, why did you let a 5-year-old watch this with you? Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Loved the first one so much, and then this one was with this guy ripping out people's hearts with his bare hand. What show stayed good from start to finish? 6 Feet Under. In fact, the last episode was, hands down, the best last episode of any series I've ever seen and will probably ever see. Black Adder. Gravity Falls. Better Off Ted. Amazingly funny, poorly marketed, and pushed to the fringes. It's the show I wish would have kept going, even more than Gasp Firefly. Malcolm in the Middle. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Every last one is a banger. The In-Betweeners UK. Loved all of Peep Show. Band of Brothers. Fleabag. 2 absolutely perfect seasons. I look like a pencil. Gallivant. The fact that it got cancelled was a tragedy. Twilight Zone. What vehicle do you automatically assume is being driven by a total asshole? Anything Carolina squatted. Yeah, so Dodge Ram 2500s are the most common vehicle involved in DUI accidents. That's 122 or 4.5. Yikes. Any truck that has the testicles attached. Anyone who's lifted truck is flaring their headlight right in my goddamn rearview mirror. The one that's weaving in and out of traffic and not using signals. Any vehicle that has the ball sack hanging off the back. The Honda that wakes up the whole neighborhood pushing 50. Dodge Ram to 500. If you drive a Chrysler 300, I automatically assume you have an active warrant for failure to appear. Those Ram monstrosities, particularly the black ones. What was the weirdest part of the pandemic? Any type of party on Zoom. How fast time went for me? I feel like I lived in a time bubble. Went in early 2020, came out late 2022. When a bunch of celebrities sing a John Lennon song thinking it'd inspire people, or some shit. Or toilet paper hoarding. Tiger King. The politicization of it all. I remember some of the restaurants near me started selling groceries during lockdown. It was so weird walking past a high-end restaurant known for its oysters only to see stacks of toilet paper, 6-packs of beer, non-perishable foods, etc. in its windows. I never understood the sort of starter craze. We get locked in our homes for a few weeks and suddenly everyone's baking bread? What words have completely lost all meaning? Literally. Most psychiatric terms, seems everybody's got their own personal definition of narcissist, sociopath, bipolar, and autism these days. Gaslighting it now just means telling someone a lie. High pain tolerance. Like, yeah, we all think we have it until we are really in pain. Sorry. Satire. I see it misused about a dozen times per day on this site. Triggered. Meme. Now it just means any generic photo with any caption. Superlatives. When even the smallest headlines make things way bigger they are, they lose the ability to describe something actually big, like a headline from last year. All of the eras have come to an end. The story a sports team lost. What's a sentence that will trigger a fan base? Terraria. Isn't that just to do Minecraft? Zelda is a really good swordsman and always saves the princess. This is our year, Maple Leaf fans. The Winds of Winter release date has just been announced. Greedo shot first. Beyonce is overrated. You threw a tantrum at McDonald's for Sichuan sauce because your hero Rick mentioned it once. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like the M. Night movie? Why is Palpatine back in the last Star Trek? Your favorite politician doesn't care about you. For those people who treat politics as if it's a game and follow everything their candidate tells them to do. Man, your fan base is easily triggered. What's a word that people use that you immediately disregard everything they say after it? Referring to themselves as alpha. The word sheep in reference to everyone but them. Underrated. It's used way too often. Specifically instead of specifically. Supposedly. Pay careful attention. I'm only going to say this once. I'm personally not offended by men calling women females, but usually when they do refer to them as that, they're almost always douchebags. When someone tells me they're a nice guy, that's generally an excuse for future unwarranted behavior. Irregardless. Ending question posts with "and go nitrogen monoxide." No offense. What's something that you think people are only pretending to like? Me. Being an influencer, I guess it's better than a real job in some ways. But I know always having to be on all the time gets old fast. I know I would burn out after 2 months of that shit. Other people's kids. Themselves. The New York Jets. The TikTok voiceovers. They are simply annoying. Social media. Being social media influencers, it must be so alienating and has a heavy toll on your private life. The gym I've been going 3 weeks for a year, without fail. I still hate it. Their job. I feel like anyone who loves their job is lucky to have Stockholm Syndrome. Fashion. The latest trends are usually uncomfortable and expensive. What's the best response to a Christian saying you're going to hell? It makes Jesus sad when you say that. See you later. A skater boy dropped this one on holy rollers in college. The rest of us thought it was absolutely brilliant. Live a good life. If there are gods and they are just, then they will not care how devout you have been, but will welcome you based on the virtues you have lived by. If there are gods, but unjust, then you should not want to worship them. If there are no gods, then you will be gone, but will have lived a noble life that will live on in the memories of your loved ones. Marcus Aurelius. What's the craziest adventure you've ever been on? My craziest adventure was hiking a volcano in Bali. I went on a spontaneous road trip with my best friend and we ended up sleeping in our car under the stars in the middle of nowhere. I went skydiving and accidentally landed on a nudist beach. I got lost in a maze in a Japanese garden and ended up finding a secret tea ceremony. I got stuck in an elevator with a famous celebrity and ended up having a dance party to pass the time. I went on a ghost tour and actually saw a ghost. I ran with the bulls in Spain. Does that count? What's the first sign that a movie is going to be bad? If there are multiple trailers for a comedy movie, but they use the same joke in all of them, it's advertised as one of the best movies of the year, and it's late January. An exposition in which one character explains everything that's going on to another character that should already know what is going on. Funny fun for the family. Plovis Weekly Herald. A Great Adventure. ABC Morning News. 59 Podink. Directing credit goes to Alan Smithy. Not always the case, but when there are more than 3 writers, a movie tends to lack vision. It can also occur due to rewrites. Not a Bomb podcast reviews movies that bomb financially or critically, and this is a subject often discussed if anyone is interested. What's the most quotable movie ever made? Airplane. Idiocracy brought to you by Carl's Jr. Office Space. Mean Girls. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Super Troopers is up there. Blazing Saddles. Austin Powers certainly was back in the day. Quotable. That would be The Princess Bride. Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy that escalated quickly. Young Frankenstein. Superbad. Caddyshack. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got a salami to hide. Forrest Gump. Pulp Fiction. Tombstone. Clerks. Step Brothers. Dumb and Dumber. It's The Big Lebowski hands down. Hot Fuzz. What's the story behind your phone's wallpaper? I was browsing for new wallpapers. I saw it, and I said, oh, that's neat. They made the phone with a wallpaper. I bought the phone with a wallpaper. End of story. My children edit story. I had sex twice. It's a painting I did that I thought looked cool. It's black to conserve battery. It's literally the default theme. It's my dog who passed away 5 months ago. She was in the car after we went to PetSmart and had a huge smile since her photos have been in rotation as my wallpaper since having a phone. I'm 21. She was 13. I simply do not know and never thought of what else to use as a wallpaper. Looks pretty cool, so I clicked save. Nice colors, makes me happy. You know, the works. What's the worst edible filling for a Pop-Tart that you could imagine? Spam. Caviar. Toothpaste. Asparagus jelly. I like asparagus, but it'd make a Pop-Tart so watery. Mustard. Dust, poop, lighting. Kimchi. Pipe resin. Glass. Kiwi. Fermented shark. Vegemite. A whole watermelon. Human feces. Mayo. Smegma from uncut guys who didn't realize their foreskin could be pulled back. The smell when I discovered it as a teen was horrific. Almost as bad as when my first girlfriend let me know I had a micropenis, dumped me, and proceeded to tell the whole school. Brussels sprouts. Flavored mealworms. Which Disney princess would win the Hunger Games and why? I have 3 potential winners: Elsa on account of having superpowers that can be used offensively, Mulan on having actual combat training, Nala if you count her for being a literal lion. Not one of the early ones, I'll tell you that right now. Thematically, Meridia, practically Elsa. She's literally a magicalized goddess that can flash freeze an entire lake. The only other princess with anything approaching supernatural power is Mona, and her power is over water. Mulan trained warrior with excellent survival skills. Likely Elsa, she's one of the few with genuine superpowers. Who is the worst kind of person to be sat next to on a long flight? I'd take a big person over a smelly person. Nothing is worse than someone who smells like us and you're trapped. Total violation of the senses. Someone who is hell-bent on chatting when your whole demeanor screams, leave me alone. Definitely someone who talks non-stop or takes up all the armrest space. Terrorists. An older woman wearing the most foul-smelling perfume my nose has smelled. It was a 9-hour flight. I felt like throwing up from my headache a few hours in. Smelly person. I mean, I don't think there's anything you can do about it while on the plane. A child with unattended parents. The guy who checks to drinks and then sleeps snoring loudly for the entire flight. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Why do you think states are banning drag shows but not child beauty pageants? Because it was never about protecting the children. Because right-wingers don't care if young girls are sexualized as long as it's in a way that's heterosexual and gender-conforming. Because for the most part, men make the laws and those men are terrified of feelings they may develop during a drag show, but don't really mind the feelings they may develop during a child beauty pageant. Because it's about forcing gay people into hiding, not protecting children from sexual displays. Would you vote for Jon Stewart if he ran for president? If so, why? If not, why? This is the premise of Man of the Year 2006, starring Robin Williams. Let the man help animals on his sanctuary in peace. No, he's not quite old enough. I only vote for people so old that they're dead inside and old enough where they won't have to live with the consequences of their decisions. Yes, mainly because he doesn't want to be president. I really hate that this throwaway pointless comment is my most upvoted of all time. Reddit stop making celebrities president, also Reddit. Florida state is attempting to make child rape punishable by death. Do you think child rape warrants a death penalty? Why or why not? I don't trust the government enough to give them the ability to kill us. A lawyer once told me if rape and murder both have the death penalty, then rapists will be more likely to kill the victim to try and hide their tracks since the punishment is the same. Edit Y is my most upvoted comment about rape. The goal of this law is to get the Supreme Court to allow the death penalty for more crimes that aren't homicides. How far down the criminal severity ladder are we comfortable going with the death penalty? I don't believe in the death penalty. Innocent people are convicted often. No, it's never a good idea to give the government permission to kill its citizens. How often do you write a reply, decide it's not worth it, and then just click away? Often. Often, especially if it's on a bit of a touchy subject, usually after the thought, do I really want to have this argument with a random internet stranger? Quite often. Or I write a post and then go, nah, that doesn't sound right, or I can't be bothered to post it and I write it again and again, I don't bother posting. I do this a lot because I'm afraid of getting mean comments for no reason, lol. More often with each passing year. I just can't be bothered to argue with morons like I could when I was younger. The spark is just gone. If there is ice cream in Zootopia, who is getting milked? Do mammals only eat ice cream produced with their own milk? Humans, you don't see us because we're trapped inside the dairy. More importantly, a polar bear crosses himself in the Mr. Big scene, implying the existence of Christianity within the Zootopia universe. Who was Zootopia Jesus? Coconut-based, vegan-based. I mean, humans have almond milk. And we also have non-dairy ice cream, some of which uses almond milk. Also, a dairy cow might just be another job for the sentient cows. If you could pick between $100,000 tomorrow or $1 million in 10 years, what would you pick and why? I would take the money tomorrow. I'm 62 and lots of people I knew who are my age have died recently. I would put it if in the event of my death my children got the money. I'm 22 right now, so knowing that when I turn 32 I'll be a millionaire would allow me to prioritize the now much more. I'll take $1 million in 10 years. That will cover my retirement so I can spend a bit more of my income now to live and enjoy those far-off holidays rather than wait. $1 million in 10 years. Even assuming you could get 10 compounded annually, the $100,000 would be worth just $259,000 in 10 years. If you have ever walked out of a cinema because the film was so bad, what one was it? Oh, I remember vividly. It was Battlefield Earth. The shot angles kept being tilted this way and that for no reason, and I started tilting my head so that things would be level. Then my friend joined in. Then we simultaneously were like, are we going to cramp our necks for this? And walked out. I've never walked out of a movie and I saw Cats opening weekend. I left Frozen when I was 11 because I was scared, Lamau. My parents took me and my sister to see a cool-looking superhero movie when we were kids. That movie was Watchmen. My parents pulled us out after the big blue penis scene. Edit for clarification, not to say it's a bad movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Men of Reddit, what are some green flags on a first date? She showed up. She compliments you and how you look. When she puts her phone away, hell of a green flag. If you pay for the meal or anything, she says thank you and is genuinely appreciative. Shocking, shocking. Amount of women won't even say thank you when you pay for stuff on a date. Bonus points if she offers to split the check. Or IDK, if you bought the movie tickets, she gets the popcorn. ETC example, my now wife offered to split our first meal. I declined and paid. She thanked me. Then when we got a drink at the bar after, she said, let me get this round. Knew she was a keeper. Redditors over the age of 40, what's your best advice for young people? Don't be embarrassed to use foam earplugs at concerts and other loud events. I'm 52 and have a constant ringing in my ears 24/7, and if I'm lucky, I'll have to hear it for the next 30 years. Learn about finances and taxes. You will not escape these no matter how old you get. Stay in shape. You can't buy health, no matter how much dough you make. Take fiber so you have good dumps. Acquire currency. Cook on cast iron. Wear sunscreen. Trust me on this. Learn from your mistakes. Cherish your relationships. And always be kind to others. There is a Greek proverb: a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. What are the greatest examples of this in human history? Joseph Bazalgette was a Victorian engineer who masterminded London's modern sewer system in the 1860s. He foresaw the insane population growth, and when all the calculations were made on how big to bore the pipes underground, he essentially said, "No, let's double it." Now, infrastructure that would have been unable to cope in the 1960s is still in use today. During the Napoleonic Wars, there was a Royal Navy admiral who went on leave used to wander his country estate planting oak trees to provide timber for the Navy. It's estimated they are about ready now. To the people who creep forward several times while waiting at a red light, why? Relieve pressure or reposition my foot adjust how I am sitting to avoid my back having troubles. A few of the lights around here are motion camera activated. I've had it where I'm sitting at a light with no traffic for seriously 5 minutes. Then a different color car drives up behind me and boom, it goes green. Sometimes moving forward a foot activates the light change, making sure that sensor in the road has detected my presence. Additionally, people who stop more than one car length back. Why? To assert dominance. To indicate to oncoming traffic that they intend to pull a Boston and take the left half a second after the light changes. People in my city often stop a whole car length behind the line. I don't get it. What are people stupid for not using? Sunscreen. Their car signals. Condoms. A rice cooker. It makes perfect rice. The words I don't know or I need to do more research, me included. All the alternatives to TurboTax that are both cheaper and sometimes even free. Critical thinking. Cloud storage for their precious baby pictures. A relative lost 3 years of memories recently. Their brain. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. Their library. Dental floss. Turn signals and seatbelts. Compound interest and investing. What are the best tips for improving basic math skills? Practice memorizing basic math staples like times tables for a start. And although it doesn't directly make your IQ or mental arithmetic increase overnight, it does help. Your brain will start to notice patterns and recognize connections about numbers. In simple addition and subtraction that I do in my head on the fly, I always found it easiest to break it down due to the communicative properties of these problems. I use 1724, 1020307 for 113011 for one, which 1724 also 41. It's how I break them down in my head. Practice, practice, practice. Find exercises on the internet and solve them.